What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this 2023 Dodge Challenger RT Scat Pack finished in Plum Crazy. MSRP on this sports car is $53,000. And a big shout out to Garber, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram for providing this muscle car for today's video. Take a look at their website, link down below. Underneath the hood of the 2023 Dodge Challenger RT Scat Pack, you're going to find that naturally aspirated 6.4 liter 8-cylinder. It's paired to a 6-speed manual transmission, sending all the power to the rear wheels. This muscle car cranks out 485 horsepower with 475 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 is going to be in the mid 4-second range, 0 to 100 is in the mid 10-second range, topping out close to 174 miles per hour. This Challenger also weighs in around 4,200 pounds, runs on an 18.5 gallon fuel tank, so you can expect 14 miles per gallon in the city with 23 out on the highway. Overall length is 197.9 inches with a wheelbase at 116.2. Height is 57.7 and width is 75.7 inches. Moving on to the styling with the Challenger Scat Pack. This looks super cool, especially in the purple color. I love the retro appearance. You have a nice set of LED headlights, all blacked out for this upper grille. You have the classic Challenger script, more gloss black trim, RT badge as well, finished off in red, and I like the intake ducts on the inside headlights. You can see a lot of body color throughout this front bumper, massive opening down below to provide more cooling to the radiator, huge front chin spoiler along with fog lights down below. I've always liked the Challenger's front end. I love the classic retro appearance, even for being a very dated car, and this is pretty much the final year for this muscle car. Still is a gorgeous looking vehicle. You got the massive intake scoop right in the center of the hood with that power dome design, and you're also going to see heat extraction vents on the left and right side. Really nice how long that hood is, just giving it that classic muscle car appearance. As you make our way to the side, you can also see the massive Brembo brake calipers with the ventilated front rotors. Nice design for the 10-spoke wheels, really cool gray color. They're also 20 inches in diameter. You have a sharp body line surrounding this front fender, and then that 392 Scat Pack logo. Sharp body line going through the entire side profile with body colored door handles and mirror caps. Nice design around the windows with all black trim, shark fin antenna up on the roof. And then for the side profile, this is a huge car, definitely one of the biggest two-door cars out there. However, it just gives you a really good muscle car appearance. Long front end, huge back end with a tall trunk, and then just a very flat body line with one sharp line through the side profile. I also liked how the roofline just cuts into this rear so clean with a huge flat trunk lid. Got a nice matte black spoiler with your Scat Pack badge, backup camera in the center, Dodge is written out in the center with gloss black trim, and then you can see the nice LED taillights. I like how flat this rear end is as well, and then you're going to see the dual exhaust tips with some satin silver trim. We have a massive black diffuser with parking sensors and reflectors, and overall the Challenger really comes together with a retro look. Taking a look at the key fob, we get Dodge on one side, lock, unlock, and then trunk release. If I go ahead and keep the car locked, all you have to do, grab the door handle. You have the button on the top, you're also able to lock and unlock it. And then of course we can take a look at the interior. So this one has a fabric interior with a cool checker design throughout. You're going to see all black for the door panel, more fabric on the insert, some vinyl material on your padded armrest, grab handle, window controls, release handle, storage down below, and an audio system from Alpine. You have Challenger written out on the door sill. You have some power controls and manual controls for the seats, and then you can see the two-tone material. You have pretty good sized bolsters in them, nothing all too fancy, but they are a big seat overall. And then you're going to see a leather wrapped steering wheel with some black trim. And then now sitting inside the RT Scat Pack, keep my foot on the clutch, we can go ahead and fire it up. Taking a look at the gauge cluster now, you're going to see the tach over on the left side, speedometer on the right. We have a digital screen right in the center as well that you can configure using these buttons. So if I scroll down now, you're going to see vehicle information. You can scroll through and see all sorts of different things that are going to pop up. We also have performance indications, which is a really cool thing for a performance vehicle. See different lap times, track times, G-force meters. You're also going to see average MPG, things like that. And then you can scroll through trip, audio, and messages. On the steering wheel, we have the Dodge logo right in the center. Those controls, along with some Bluetooth and audio controls. Then you're going to see cruise control on the right side. No stock on the right side. And then on the left side, you're going to see the stock for all the windshield wipers. To the left of the actual steering wheel, we have headlight controls, interior dimming, and trunk release. You're also going to notice there is a foot brake down here for your emergency brake. So kind of odd to see 4 pedals for this particular car. We have one of your air vents and then just some rubber material for the entire dashboard. We have the 392 Scat Pack logo on the far right side, and then the infotainment scene right in the center. So climate control right now, you can see all of your different settings, pretty easy to adjust everything. We have our navigation system that will pop up. You can view your map. It's old. I mean, this is obviously the dated screen, not the newest things you're going to get from Chrysler Group vehicles. The SRT dashboard does give you some cool items. You have launch control. You can see your performance pages. Take a little bit to turn on. Once they do load, you're going to get some cool things like your horsepower, G-force meter. You have different timers you're able to adjust, all sorts of gauges, a bigger G-force meter. You can see your engine and then a dyno graph as well. If we exit out of performance pages, you can also see different options. So you have your line lock, launch control, you're able to adjust that. And then going back out of there, we have different drive modes. Basically traction and steering, you're able to tighten up if needed. Auto setup as well for everything. We have settings within the car as well. And of course we can exit out of all that and then just have all your shortcuts down below. Now if I go ahead, put this into reverse, you have a backup camera. Graphics are okay. Screen is okay. Obviously, this is older system, but it's nice to have that at least. And then back into neutral. Underneath all that, you're going to see some controls. You have a shortcut for drive modes. You're easily able to adjust that. It'll pop up on the screen right now. It says custom, and then you can toggle between those. You also have launch control, parking sensors. You can turn your screen on and off, volume, physical climate controls down below, and then a leather shift boot for your 6-speed manual. I also really like the shift pattern that's on it. Nice ball design for the shifter. Some plastic trim throughout the center with your cup holders. This vinyl leather material. Pressing that open, we have a pretty good amount of space in here. You're going to see 2 USBs, an auxiliary, and a 12-volt. And then opening that up, you have a lot of space. One last look at the interior. Obviously, this is a pretty dated car on its way out. However, it is a cool place to be nonetheless, especially with a 6-speed manual. I like the checkered material on the fabric seats. Just a black headliner. Up on top, you're going to get a sunglass holder that will pop outwards. You have all your dome lights, nice mirror, garage door buttons, and then a pretty large sun visor. Moving to the back seats, the Challenger has a latch on the driver's seat. You can just fold that forwards and then just press the button to slide it forwards. You're going to see all the seats back here finished in the same materials with the black fabric as well as the checkered. And then if you take a look in the center, we can pull this down. You do have an armrest with 2 cup holders and even climate control vents. Armrest on the far side with a small speaker, so you do have a few amenities. All right, sitting in the back of the Challenger, for being a 2-door car, this is genuinely pretty comfortable back here. I'm 5'11". I can actually sit up straight. My head just barely touches the ceiling. And with the driver's seat at my height, my knees are kind of in the seat, but there is some like vinyl material and padding and actually some storage behind these seats to where my feet and knees are actually pretty comfortable. So this is not a bad place to be given it's a 2-door car. You know, you do have the armrest, a small window, so it's a little cramped here, but given that I have plenty more space than a Camaro or a Mustang, it does make it pretty useful. Moving on to the trunk now, there is actually a button back here you can press, pop this, and lift it up. And you have a huge trunk. Challenger is a huge 2-door car, and as you can tell, you can probably fit 4 or 5 golf bags back here. So much space, and of course, once you fold down the seats, they fall down nice and flat to give you even more storage space, and then you can very easily close it and close the trunk. All right, setting off now in the Challenger. I will say I love being in a 6-speed manual. That just kind of brings it back to the old school cars. The clutch pedal is very short. It does give you some good feedback as far as the bite point. There's a good weight to it. It's just like super short, and it's kind of up high to where my knees almost at the steering wheel. So a little interesting compared to like other sports cars, you know, versus this car. I mean, even a Mustang or a Camaro, the clutch I feel like is a lot longer in the throw. The shifter is fun to go through the gears. Pretty easy to do a rev match and everything. And then there's some good weight to the shifter as well, to where, you know, you feel like you gotta kind of muscle it a little bit. So I like that aspect. I think that goes a long way, giving this that raw muscle car feeling. As far as overall acceleration, this isn't really all too fast. It's pretty darn quick, I would say. It just weighs so much to where when you compare a V8 Mustang or a V8 Camaro, you know, the GTs and SSs, I mean, they are significantly faster vehicles. But nonetheless, this still gets up and goes. I mean, you can have a lot of fun with it. I think the Scat Pack at least is a huge step up over the standard RT. So to me, this is a good sweet spot without getting into a Hellcat. And the price point for 53 grand, it kind of feels like a bargain. With the manual, it just makes it so much more fun. This truly is a fun car without breaking the bank. I really like that. I think it's pretty cool. Visibility, normal things like that. You have a huge windshield. It's pretty easy to see around the front. The back is pretty tight. That C-pillar is massive, and the trunk is really tall, so it's not the easiest as far as visibility. However, it's pretty decent once you kind of get used to it. Suspension is a little stiff in this mode, at least. I don't think it's adaptive or anything like that, but you can certainly feel the bumps. It's got a more rigid platform. So it's a cool car. It's kind of old school feeling now when you compare this to even more modern vehicles. But it's kind of nice to be in. It's super roomy. You have so much space. Obviously the trunk and everything. I mean, this truly is a car. You could daily drive this too. It's easy to drive. Really not all too crazy. You can tell there's a huge footprint. The hood is very far away. The trunk is very far away. But it's an easy car to drive around. So it's cool. If you want that muscle car feeling, that old school big car, this is something to take a look at, especially since this might be the final year, I believe, 2023. I don't think there's a 2024. It is just fun to play around with. You got some power to it. You got a pretty good sound. The technology, obviously, this is old. It still gives you everything you need. You know, nothing more, nothing less. Just the graphics, I would say, are the worst part of it. It just looks very basic and kind of old, but you still have the information that you need. So it's not the worst system out there. Same with the screen in the center. You have plenty to go through. So I don't know, the Challenger is still cool. Even though it's an old car, I still think it looks amazing. I think the exterior design is going to age perfectly and timeless. Interior could certainly use a nice update. But nonetheless, when you're driving in a Challenger with a manual and you got that Scat Pack, it's something you can just kind of smile. You may not be winning every drag race given it weighs so much and you're not going to be taking the sharpest turns, but you're going to have some fun if you're driving this car. I truly think this is a really fun car and something to take a look at as these V8s are dying out. Definitely a cool car. All right, so spinning around to my honest thoughts, my perspective with the Challenger Scat Pack with a manual. So personally, the Scat Pack to me is kind of the sweet spot. I think it gives you enough power to be in something quick, have a lot of fun with. The normal RT to me is pretty slow, just given this car weighs a lot. And whenever I film a Challenger, I swear, I get so many comments of people not happy with me saying these aren't that fast. It all comes down to what you're used to. You know, when you're in a car with, you know, less than 500 horsepower that weighs as much as a truck, it's just not that fast when you compare it to other V8s. A GT Mustang is significantly faster than this. An SS Camaro is significantly faster as well. This thing weighs a lot, so regardless of its big engine, you need to be in a Hellcat to be in something truly fast. Even then, you just never get traction in a Hellcat. So I'm not the biggest fan of those cars just because of that. I think with the Scat Pack, again, you're not going to be winning that many races given other cars are faster. My wife's Audi S3, little 4-cylinder, is a lot faster than this car. That thing does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. So this just isn't all that fast. However, it doesn't mean it's not fun. It is fun roaming through the gears. It's fun being in a big old school muscle car that still is a brand new car at the end of the day. So there's a lot going for this car, even though it is significantly outdated comparing it to especially the new Mustang and the semi-outgoing Camaro. Still not too sure if that car is dying or not. But it's fun. It's fun to be in. It's fun going through the gears. You just feel like you're in something raw and mechanical. It's something very different than the other cars. So I do like what it has to offer, even though it's not my style of car. And with the Scat Pack, you still have enough power to get up. You know, we're not going crazy in a brand new car. but it's a healthy motor, healthy power plant, and it's just something that is nice to be in. It is roomy in here. You have so much space. You know, it's not going to be a car for everyone. Obviously, it's not my taste, but people love these cars who own them, and I can see why, because there is a lot of fun factor having something that is this size, this sound, and just gives you that old school feeling at the same time. So it's kind of sad. We'll see what happens from Dodge. Are they going to bring this back? Are they going to give it a V8 again? Is it really just going to be an electric car? I don't know. I hope not. I think that would absolutely ruin the Challenger name, the Charger name. I think they need to keep the V8 going, keep it alive. Ford's doing it, so keep up with Ford. But nonetheless, Scat Pack is cool. I think it's a sweet spot, like I said, and it's just a kind of a muscle car you can have some fun and play around with, and not be all too serious in this car. You know, the Camaro handles better, the Mustang's going to be faster than this, but this car just gives you an old school vibe at the same time. And if you like the big, old school, big cars, this is the only one out there. And I think they've done a good job, even though this has been out, I want to say like 07 or 09-ish was when we first saw this car, honestly. So it's been out forever. It still is a cool car. If you do opt for a nicer interior with the leather, I think it significantly changes the interior feeling. It makes you feel like you're in something that's actually like really nice. This one with the cloth and fabric stuff, you know, not exactly upscale or anything like that. But nonetheless, it's cool to be in. Love the manual option for sure. That is the way to go in my opinion. It just adds that old school feeling. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for plenty more content. And then a big shout out and thank you once again to Garber, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram for providing this brand new Challenger Scat Pack for today's video. Take a look at their website, links down below, and I'll see you all in the next video.